What's up everybody, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a triple double legacy Ice Water team comp in the Retro Cup. A team consisting of Lapras, Dewgong and Walrein, all of them having double legacy ice moves. And honestly, I've been wanting to try this team out for quite a while now. But I felt like Retro Cup would probably be the best meta to try it out in. Probably the safest meta simply because of the fact that steel types are banned. Yes, it's still going to struggle against some fighters like Machamp and Primeape and some counter users like Vigoroth, Defense Deoxys. Also Pokemon like Araquanid, Golisopod, Regirock, etc. can give this team a little bit of an issue. But overall, there's some really fun battles in here and let's get straight into it. And also, I've tried out a bunch of weird teams in this Retro Cup. A lot of fun with it, but I also tanked a bunch of Elo in the process. I'm not going to be able to showcase them all, unfortunately, because Retro Cup comes to a close today. But again, there was some really intense battles in here, so let's get into it. So we have a Dewgong into a Walrein right now. Honestly, my Walrein is actually my only solid response to their Walrein because that's the only thing which can hit for neutral. So I'm actually going to soak up the Earthquake and then switch it in the mirror fight, and unfortunately they come in with their Defense Deoxys. This is not looking good because Defense Deoxys obviously beats this entire team. But at least we're slightly ahead on energy right now. They shield the first Icicle Spear, which is very surprising. So I'm going to actually shield this up as well. It is a Rock Slide which is going to hit for super effective, of course. And then we're going to try and build up a lot of extra energy here and then try and go for another Icicle Spear right now. And the good thing is our switch timers are slightly misaligned. So I'm going to try and go for another Icicle Spear here. I'm definitely going to shield this up, and then I'm going to try and my switch number is coming back up, so I'm going to try and switch into the Dewgong and immediately go for the Icy Wind. I want to make sure that I can debuff this Defense Deoxys before they can get to a Rock Slide, and even if they want to choose to stay in and throw a Rock Slide, that's okay because it's debuffed. But they actually make a switch into their Walrein, that's okay. They have to go for an Earthquake to KO, but they actually decide to go for the Icicle Spear, which is double resisted. I'm able to get off an Icy Wind. Now, Icy Wind is double resisted, Water Pulse is single resisted, but still I'd rather go for Icy Wind just to get that attack debuff. And then able to get to a second Icy Wind here, and at this point even an Icicle Spear might not KO because that's double resisted and double debuffed. But it looks like they are trying to farm down, which is going to be very, very hard, right? I'm actually going to bank an Icy Wind and immediately switch back into my Walrein and go for the Earthquake right now. Hopefully they let this go through, but they do shield that, which is fine. And at this point they bank a bunch of energy and then switch back into their Defense Deoxys. I'm going to go for the Icicle Spear before they can get to a Rock Slide here. Icicle Spear will take out the Defense Deoxys. Back in comes Walrein. I'm going to try and get to this Icicle Spear. I'm barely able to get to it. Obviously not going to do too much damage. It is double resisted and it ends up being a CMP tie. That is like best case scenario for me because we wasted a little bit of their energy there. And at this point, I'm going to try and we have a banked Icy Wind on the Dewgong, which I can use later if need be. I'm going to come in with my Lapras, soak up an Earthquake here. It's going to do quite a bit of neutral damage, and I'm going to overfarm just a little bit, probably just before they can get to a Weather Ball and then throw the Surf here. I could have probably taken an Icicle Spear, beg your pardon, but I just didn't want to take any extra damage because Lapras was getting low, and they have an Altaria in the back, and I'm able to get to an Ice Beam here, and Ice Beam will absolutely one-shot the Altaria. Altaria honestly has nowhere to go in this team, and even if we hadn't gotten rid of it, we still had a Dewgong with Icy Wind loaded, so we could have taken that anyways there. So the one good thing about this team is that it completely takes Altaria out of the equation because all three of these Pokemon have dominating matchups against it. Altaria and also other dragons as well, right? Like, I mean, dragons pretty much have no play against this team comp, unless it's probably something like a Rock Throw Tyrantrum or something. But we have a Castform on the lead here. They're able to get to a second Weather Ball. This is not good because it's going to do quite a bit of damage. And I'm going to try and go for the Icy Wind right now on the CMP here. So Icy Wind is going to do, again, I don't expect them to shield this. It's not going to do too much damage. And at this point, I'm going to try and bank an Icy Wind and then switch into my Lapras to catch the next move here. I just want that stored energy on Dewgong to hopefully debuff whatever is in the back. And we tank the Weather Ball. They make a switch into their Primeape, and this is where things can get a little bit tricky, right? Because Primeape, honestly, can beat this entire team because it's especially if they get the boost, that's going to be very bad for me. So I'm going to shield the Night Slash here. Unfortunately, I shielded the Night Slash thinking it was going to be a cross chop. We could have survived the Night Slash, and because we shielded that, they're able to farm down for a bunch of energy. So I'm going to come into my Walrein here, and I'm going to try and probably shield this. Or I'm actually going to let it go through because I'm realizing they probably are running Night Slash and Ice Punch or something. So I'm going to go for the Icicle Spear right now, and this is going to get the shield from the Primeape, immediately switching to my Dewgong and going for the Icy Wind. This is again where storing up that energy on Dewgong came in clutch. We're able to take out the Primeape here, and they have an Oranguru in the back. So this is very, very tough because again, we're going to have to land like 2 Icicle Spears once we get this Powder Snow damage off, and I don't know even if 2 Icicle Spears would KO, and these confusions are really adding up. So I'm going to overfarm, making sure they don't catch, but they catch now. This is exactly why I overfarm, because I knew they were probably going to try and switch to catch. So I undercharge it here. I'm going to try and farm it down, but we are not able to farm down the Castform there. They're able to get to a move with 1 HP left. Honestly, if I'd farmed them down, then I probably could have gotten off 2 Icicle Spears. I don't know if that would have been enough, but it would have been pretty close there. Anyways, moving on to the next one here. We have Dewgong into another Walrein here. Obviously not the greatest situation to be in. And at this point, yeah, we're gonna play it the same way. We're gonna basically soak up an Earthquake and then switch into the Mirror fight. Earthquake's gonna do quite a bit of damage. Immediately switching to my own Walrein here, and they are staying in. I'm so glad they're staying in because, again, like I mentioned earlier as well, because I'm not running Skull Bash on Lapras because it's a triple double legacy showcase. Walrein is honestly my best response to their Walrein. So I'm going to overfarm as much as I can, build up to almost 1.5 Earthquakes, and then throw the Earthquake here. It does massive damage. And now they make a switch into their Salazzle. So I'm going to shield this up, and I'm going to actually bait with Icicle Spear. And then I'm going to go for the Earthquake here. They're almost for sure going to shield this because Earthquake has the potential to one-shot. But they no shield. They call the bait there. I'm able to get to another Icicle Spear as well. This is obviously resisted. It would probably not KO. It doesn't KO. And unfortunately, they're able to Incinerate, farm me down. And I'm going to come into my Lapras and we're going to soak up this move here. Probably just going to be a Poison Fang. And yeah. Salazzle is honestly pretty solid in this meta. It's actually going to do pretty well against a lot of different Pokemon in the meta. They actually come in with their Hypno right now. And at this point, I'm going to try and switch immediately into the Dewgong and go for the Icy Wind to get the debuff here. And Icy Wind does land to get the debuff. And yeah, I'm going to try and get to another one. Unfortunately, we're not able to get to it. But because it's debuffed, even if it's a Thunder Punch, it will not KO. But for some reason, they go for Ice Punch. They're probably running Ice Punch and Shadow Ball. So they decided to bait, but we don't fall for the bait. And we go for the Icy Wind once again here. We force a shield from them. Back in comes the Walrein, and I'm going to let this go through here. It is absolutely fine. It's going to be an Icicle Spear right now. Icicle Spear honestly does not even KO, and I'm able to get to an Icy Wind as well. And what this Icy Wind is going to do is it's going to put this Walrein into farm down range for Lapras. And I'm going to come in my Lapras. I'm going to be able to farm down. This is just going to be an Icicle Spear, which is debuffed and also double resisted as well. And I'm able to farm down. Now I'm going to go for the Surf right now to hopefully get a shield from the Hypno so that I can get to an Ice Beam here. It does get the shield. Now I'm able to get to an Ice Beam, and Ice Beam is going to do more than enough damage to take out the Hypno there. Pretty close battle, honestly. It was always nice running into Salazzle there, but that was a really great play on their part to no shield the Icicle Spear. But yeah, luckily we were able to pull it off. Moving on to the next one here, we have a Dewgong into a Primeape. Again, Primeape on the lead, very, very tricky because again, this thing is an absolute monster. And like I mentioned, if they get that Night Slash boost, it's almost impossible to win. So we shield the Night Slash here, and I'm going to go for the Icy Wind right now. I'm going to try and rely on my Dewgong to take it out because at least I can stay in as long as I can. And then try and get off multiple Icy Wind debuffs so that these counters don't do as much damage. So I'm actually going to double shield. I know this is a debuff Night Slash, but I just want to make sure. But they actually go for Cross Chop this time. So I'm actually going to be able to get to an Icy Wind, but they make an incredible catch onto their Walrein here. This is not good for me. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually bank an Icy Wind or almost an Icy Wind. Actually, I don't quite bank it. I count up and then I try and catch the Icicle Spear on my own Walrein here, and hopefully I can get off an Icy Wind later on if need be. But anyways, I'm going to try and go for the Earthquake right now, but they get to a move. This is not going to be an Earthquake, probably just going to be an Icicle, but yeah, it is an Earthquake. I mean, honestly, I miscounted there. Probably they snuck a couple of Powder Snows through. Also, this was before the update they made to the fast move denial fix. So, I mean, this is back in like a couple of days ago when you could deny fast moves as well. So we get the shield from the Primeape with the Icicle Spear. Charge move is going to be coming through. Probably a Cross Chop here. It is a Cross Chop. It's going to take out the Walrein. And I cannot come in with my Dewgong because Dewgong does not have enough energy to get to an Icicle Spear. So I'm going to come in with my Lapras and try and catch on the Dewgong, which we managed to do. This is perfect for me. We managed to waste a bunch of their energy. They go for Cross Chop, which is great. I'm going to be able to come in and farm down the Primeape here, but can we win against whatever is in the back? It's going to be very, very close right now. They have a Trevenant at the back. This is where I make a bit of a mistake. Right? I should have actually farmed up a couple of extra Ice Shards. I go for the Ice Beam, near one-shots the Trevenant, but unfortunately Walrein is going to be able to come back in. And they're going to be able to get to an Earthquake, and that's going to take us out there. Honestly, I don't know if Walrein still would have outpaced even if I'd done a couple of extra Ice Shards. I don't know. It would have been close, but I definitely should have overfarmed in that Trevenant matchup. That was actually a very nice play on their part. They just wanted to soak the energy on Trevenant so that Walrein could come and close there. So we met with a Nidoqueen on the lead, but they make a switch to another Primeape right now. Not looking good at all. Going for the Icy Wind here. We get the debuff on the Primeape, and also it lands. This is massive for me. I'm so glad they let that go through. And I'm going to stay in, and then I'm going to try and completely Ice Shard this thing down. I'm going to double shield right now. That's completely fine by me. I'm going to double shield and completely farm down this Primeape here. And they get the boost, but luckily we're able to farm it down. And let's see what they decide to come in with, right? This is going to be very close here. They actually come back with a Nidoqueen, which is very, very surprising. And this tells me that they could probably have something else in the back, which is really weak to Ice Water type. So I'm going to switch to my Lapras right now. And then we're going to soak up a Poison Fang here, which is completely okay. But they have an Araquanid in the back. Araquanid, honestly, is the biggest nightmare. Even Primeape is okay because at least you're going to be able to hit for neutral. Whereas Araquanid, completely walls every single move that I have on this team comp. Because like I mentioned, I'm not running Skull Bash on Lapras because it is a double legacy Lapras. There's nothing I can do with Lapras or Dewgong or with Walrein, right? This thing completely walls my entire team. They're probably going to go for a Bug Buzz right now. Bug Buzz is going to take out the Lapras. And again, Araquanid with the shield advantage is going to be very, very difficult to beat. Also, they have an almost full health Nidoqueen in the back. So I'm going to come into my Walrein right now, just go throw as many Icicle Spears as I can just to do as much resisted damage. We're going to start chipping away here. And I'm going to try and catch the Bug Buzz on the Dewgong, which we managed to do. This is perfect. We managed to waste a bunch of their energy, which is great. Now they make a switch into their Nidoqueen. This opens up a win con for me because I'm able to farm up a little bit of extra energy. I don't care if they throw Poison Fang right now. That's completely fine by me. I just want to load up on as much energy as I can. So I'm going to build up to almost 3 Icicle Spears here and go for the first one. The first one is going to be taking out the Nidoqueen, and I need to get to 3 Icicle Spears to get rid of this Araquanid, right? Because they still have a shield advantage. So going for the first Icicle Spear right now. Icicle Spear lands, and then I'm going to try and get to 2 Icicle Spears. I'm able to get to the first one here, and this is going to get the shield from the Araquanid, but can we get to a next one before they can get to a Bubble Beam? I'm barely able to get to this Icicle Spear right now. Is Icicle Spear going to KO the Araquanid from this range? It does take out the Araquanid. That was so close there. Honestly, Walrein coming in super clutch. So Walrein Araquanid counter confirmed there. So moving on to the next one here, we have a Dewgong into an Altaria. You love to see Altarias on the lead. Altaria has nowhere to go in this team comp. And they are staying in. They now make a switch into their Alolan Marowak. This is fine by me. I'm going to stay in and go for the Water Pulse right now. Obviously, you're going to do super effective damage. And they're probably going to think it's an Icy Wind because most Dugongs tend to go Icy Wind straight away. But I'm not going to go for it. But they are farming up quite a bit. So this could be a Fire Blast. But I choose to risk it and I let this go through. And it is a Fire Blast. It does massive damage. I'm going to do 1 extra Ice Shard and then switch it to my Lapras right now. And I'm going to try and completely farm down this Marowak, which is perfect. And let's see what they have in the back, right? But they have a Vigoroth in the back. This can be a little bit tricky because Vigoroth has the potential to beat my entire team as well. But I'm going to try and go for the serves here. And yeah, I'm going to try and get off as many serves as I can because Walrein can deal with Altaria even with no shields, right? So I'm going to try and basically chip down this Vigoroth and try and get as many shields out of them as I can. I'm going to definitely shield this. I don't mind double shielding my Lapras. Like I said, I don't need shields for Walrein to beat an Altaria. They get to another body slam. I'm going to double shield here. I'm going to force them to double shield as well. And I'm going to try and get off the surf right now. I'm able to get to it. This is probably going to get this final shield from Vigoroth because they don't want to go up against my Lapras. It does get the shield from the Vigoroth. Immediately switching to my Walrein right now. And I'm going to completely farm down this Vigoroth. They're not going to get to 2 body slams here because we should be able to farm down the Vigoroth before they can get to it. At this point, we are at 2 Icicle Spears right now. Back in comes Altaria. I'm able to get to the first Icicle Spear here. Going to do massive, super effective damage. Able to get to the second Icicle Spear as well. And this is going to take out the Altaria there. So again, if you've run into an Altaria with this team, it's almost like an auto win. Even if they have something that's so good against your Ice Water types in the back. So because Altaria is so weak with 3 solid counters to it, you're going to win more often than not here. But we're met with another Altaria on the lead. This time they make a switch into their Mew. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind right now immediately to try and debuff it and hopefully force a shield out of them. But they don't shield that. That is completely fine. They are building up quite a bit of energy. This could be the back-to-back wild charges. So I'm going to respect it. I'm actually going to double shield right now. And I'm going to look to farm down this Mew here. This is going to be the second wild charge. At this point, they are double debuffed in terms of defense. So I should be able to farm down before they can get to another move here. So we're going to be able to fully farm down. And again, Dewgong with this much of an energy lead is absolutely devastating. I want to see what they have in the back. They actually have a Cradily in the back. Very, very spicy pick. Honestly, Cradily beats also, it has a pretty solid matchup against all 3 of my Pokemon, but it still takes super effective damage from Icy Wind, right? I'm able to get to a second Icy Wind. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get to it. They get to a move, but we survive with the Grass Knot with 1 HP to get to an Icy Wind here. And Icy Wind, again, it's going to force the second shield. Actually, they do let that go through. At this point, I'm going to come with my Walrein right now, go for the Icicle Spear here to force the shield, force the second shield from the Cradily, and it doesn't matter even if they go for Stone Edge. This is double debuffed, so this will not one-shot. And also on top of the fact that we have a full health Lapras in the back. As you can see, Stone Edge doesn't do too much damage. They make a switch to the Altaria, realizing that their Cradily would get farmed down, but this game is pretty much over because I get to the Icicle Spear here. I should be able to farm down this Altaria, and we should get to another Icicle Spear against this Cradily. So Walrein absolutely going to town against their entire team comp. And that's going to take the win for us there. So overall, again, I think this was the final battle of the video. We finished with a 3-2 set. We actually went positive with this team, which is kind of surprising, even in spite of running into a bunch of Primeapes and in a couple of Araquanids and a few counter users as well. Overall, probably definitely not the team that anyone would recommend for climbing rank. But I guess if there's any meta that you can try this team out and get away with, it's the Retro Cups. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.